Alright, so if you managed to make it to the end of the last video, you noticed that front cross member wasn't fitting. So frame rail needs to be 26 inches wide for the cross member to fit in, and that's what it's supposed to be. And mine's only about 25 1/8, 25 1/4, depending on where you measure it. So been looking at the car, and I think I found out, even though the body shop said it was all back straight, I really don't think they got the one cross member back where it needed to be on the front right where it hit the wall. So I have a plan. I've got some measurements I'm going to take and make sure, I got to at least make sure the driver's side's right, and then if it's right, then I'll explain it to you as we go. But I've got ideas, and we'll see if they work, and if they do, great. If not, we'll have to regroup and go with plan C or D or wherever we're at nowadays. So, but we'll take a look. So I went online and found the frame dimensions for the Falcon, which is hard to read as little b writing, but I wrote the important numbers I can measure up there. So this part on my car is all mangled, and then this is the frame rail that's wrong. So I'm going to measure the driver's side one here and see if I can get my 65 inches, and I'm going to measure back here and see if I can get the 28 3/8 back here. And if these are right and this diagonal's right, then I know at least this frame rail's right. And then the plan is I'm gonna go up. Right now the car's got an 8-point roll cage in it, which I've already cut the back supports off, but I'm gonna cut the passenger side support I'm gonna cut that bar in the roll cage, and then I'm gonna give me a hydraulic jack and put a jack right here and try to finagle this one back where it needs to be. Which, doubt if that's the right way to do it, but that's what we're gonna do. So we'll see how it goes, and yeah, you can follow along and laugh at me if you want to, but hopefully it'll work. Alright, so really didn't want to, it's kind of hard filming under the car while I'm measuring it. It's kind of boring anyway, but I did measure, and I do have 28 3/8 between these two holes right here on the frame, and I also have the 65 inches from this hole to this line, which is perfect actually. So that's good news. So we will go ahead with the plan. I'll get the sawzall out and cut the roll bar, and then we'll get a jack and a 4x4 and see what kind of damage we can do. Alright, so plan is we're going to cut this bar, and then hopefully that'll free up the thing. So we're going to cut that bar, and then I've got the jack and the 4x4, and you can see on the frame here how that's nice and flat right there, and then on this side it has that curve right there, and that's where the frame got pushed up and back from the wreck. It's kind of hard to see, but it's right there. And if I measure from here to there, I get 26 inches, but right here is my 3/4 inch of a shift. So the plan is cut the roll bar, 4x4 and bottle jack right there, and fail miserably, and then come up with a different plan. But this is what I came up with, so we're gonna give it a shot and see how it goes. Alright, so we got the roll bar cut, so we're going to see if that moves any once we start messing with this. So I got the jack and the 4x4 in there, so the plan is to hopefully not hurt myself and jack this thing up, and then we'll measure the frame and watch it back there and see if we see any difference, and hopefully we do. And if I get it far enough apart, I'll slap the cross member in there to hold it apart, and then we'll tack it in, and well, probably won't tack it in, probably just take some measurements and figure out what's going on. So stay tuned. So it's definitely moved because that gap is kind of hard to see. Down there got a little bit bigger. Let's go see if there's any change in here. Kind of hard to tell. I think it's probably about the same. But we'll grab a tape measure because we need 26 inches in between these things. And we're like 25 3/4. Let's keep going. We're just about at 26 right there. And you can see how much it moved because this is where it was just tack welded together. So you can kind of see moved quite a bit there. So the plan is we'll put the cross member in and then we'll re-measure our diagonal to this front to make sure this side didn't move and it was just that side moving, the passenger side. So I don't know if this is good or bad. It's actually kind of freaking working. We'll see. All right, so we kind of got this thing spread apart where I need it. Sorry about the noise. They're building a house next door, so the video is probably gonna suck with sound. But anyway, we're gonna do some grinding to get this in this smooth. Then we'll go test fit the cross member, and hopefully I can, once I let off the pressure off the jack, it'll just kind of wedge the cross member in there, so I don't have to tack it in, and then I can just do some measuring and make sure everything's good, and then I'll tack it in. So we'll see. All right, so good news, it's gonna fit. Let me go find the floor jack so I can jack it up. And I gotta go find the measurement for it. I know it's 13 inches and something, but I forgot. Because you're supposed to measure, when you do the ride in customs, all I gotta do is measure from, I think, the front bumper hole back like 13 point something inches. And that's where the front of this guy goes. So it's super easy to put in if you don't lose a piece of paper that has a measurement on it. So let me go find that piece of paper. All right, so I had to get on the internet and reprint out the thing. So you can see 13 5/8 to the center. So I measured from there, which is the rear bumper hole, and I made a scribe right here. That's 13 5/8, which is what they call for. And then I marked the center line. Ooh, that won't focus. The center line right there, which I marked it wrong, but it's the one on the right. So still got to figure out how to make sure it's true on the other side, just because the other side's still a little mangled up. But we'll get it jacked up and test fitted. I've got it on the jack, so we'll go hopefully see if it fits and do some measuring. Lots of measuring coming. All right, so today's actually going better than I thought it would. So got the frame rail spread out. I measured from the rear bumper mount to 13 5/8 inch. You can see my scribe right there. And then I got it lined up with my cross member right there. Pretty good. we'll verify everything before we weld it in for sure. I gotta do a lot more grinding and cleaning. But on the passenger side, obviously I didn't have the rear bumper mount because it's gone because of the crash. So what I did is I just measured this distance and I just mimicked it over here. I said that the distance is the same. So now once I go find either a wife or a kid to hold one end of the tape measure, I'll crawl under the car and we'll measure some diagonals and see if it looks like it's square or not. And just from looking at it, I think it looks okay. I don't know if the passenger's frame rail maybe is a little bit higher. I'll put a level on it and see. But I'm thinking it looks alright. So we'll see. Not 100% sure yet. So it looks a little funky just because this side isn't up all the way. So I do need to straighten out the bottom of the frame here, so I can get this all the way up, because it does look, this side's definitely low if you look at it. But that's not because of the frame, that's just because, well, it is the frame, but not because the frame's bent or anything, just because, well, it is bent. But just from this damage. So I'll get that beat up and figured out, and I'll probably come back in here, clean all this up and try to tack weld some of this just to give it a little more strength. And the plan is, once I get this in, we're going to chop everything off right from right here. We'll just chop everything off and we'll go tube frame the front and see how that goes. But progress is being made, so it's nice to actually make some progress on the car instead of 2 steps back, 1 step forward. So hopefully we'll get on a good roll here and get this thing finished. All right, so you just saw I had it test fitted. I took it back out and my battery actually died, but I beat on the frame some right there. Had to get that bigger persuader out and got it beat up where I think it's good enough. So there's a little bit underneath here I need to grind from where it was spot welded in. So I'll get that ground and then we'll test fit the cross member again and get it set up where I had it, and then we'll do some measuring, and if it's good, we'll be good to go for some welding here soon. I gotta do a lot more grinding and get this stuff cleaned up better, and also got to go find me some weldable primer. So hopefully I can get that at the parts store, because this thing, unfortunately, you know, I am a shade tree mechanic and working outside, so definitely want to get my cross member stuff in some kind of primer so it's not quite as, doesn't get quite as rusty out here as it's probably going to get anyway. But let me get back to it and we'll get this grinding done and get the cross member back in and get some measuring done. Alright, so just did some grinding on the bottom there and got the cross member back in. It fits a lot better since I got the bottom ground. and got that bend out of the frame over here some. Still not perfect, but good enough. And then I had the wife come out and hold the end of the tape measure, and I can get it square based off of, you know, some frame holes back in the back, so it's good. But when I let the tension off of this guy, it kind of all moves because it's not welded in. So plan is to go find some weldable primer, do some grinding, get it tacked in good, and then do some more measuring once it's all tacked in, and then hopefully it'll quit moving around and we can get some good measurements. And so progress is being made. So hopefully this will be cool, because once this is in, everything just bolts onto this guy except for the motor mounts, which that's not a big issue. And hopefully we can get the front end back together. Then I can get the rear end tacked in and get it maybe where it could actually roll around some and check the ride height. But I still got to order front shocks, so that's going to take 3 or 4 weeks to get those in probably once I order them. But I got to get the bottom A-frames on so I can measure a distance there for Viking Performance to spec a set of shocks out for me. So progress, and thanks for watching. And make sure if you got any better ideas on how I'm doing this, because nothing's welded yet, leave me a comment, and I'm open to all suggestions. All right, thanks.